So, well, yeah, I mean, majority of it is us. I've actually had to hire her behavior specialist ourselves independently over the summertime, just to help us with making sure she transitions well back into school. We are fortunate she has a sibling, but she's not really around all of her friends that she loves. And it's definitely showcasing in her behavior. She just wants to get back to school. We were allowed as school districts to offer summer school. Some of it could be live and in person, but depending on the school district, not every school district could afford it or could offer that type of model. Where I live in Sayville, we were fortunate that she could go, but she's only going for 2 hours, 3 days a week. It's something, so I'm really thankful for it. But you just see the lethargy, the not wanting to do anything, the getting bored with just sitting around all the time. And I'm sure you can only imagine, Mike and I have plenty of things to do in our house. We're always outside. We're always doing something with the kids. And it's impactful because it's stopped her life. She's very routine orientated, as are most children with special needs. They need to follow, a routine. They need to be around that social interaction of other peers. And that's really been hard for her, definitely. And hard on us as a family, because you work so hard to get your child, any child, but especially a child with special needs, you work so hard to get them to the place where they're starting to move forward a little bit more independently. And then it's like a roadblock. So, we've definitely put a lot of time and attention. We've done all of her lessons at home like she's supposed to online. It's not the same. I'm fortunate, as is Mike, I'm a reading teacher by nature, so I've been able to still do her reading for her and her writing with her. Mike does her math with her, but just that social piece. I don't really worry about the academics for her. I always worry about her being in a place in her community where she has connections and friends and she feels like she belongs. And the longer you stay away from people, quite frankly, the harder it is to remember those social aspects. So those are the things that I worry about for our special needs students. To be honest, here in Sachem, if we're not allowed to come back fully, the one thing that I will absolutely fight for, though, is to make sure that all of our special needs students are at least allowed back daily, as well as our English language learners, so that those students who are very at risk are still getting continuity of services every day. I mean, just because of our positions, it doesn't mean that we don't have the same struggles. I'd be lying if I said there weren't nights that, I don't cry or I don't get upset, because it's very hard. It's very hard to be working parents and to also make sure that your child has the best that they need. And it's tiring. And, they don't mean to, but it's their disability. And at the end of the day, when you don't have that support, that constant routine of them being able to go into school and to better themselves and have that sense of independency, it's almost like going back to square one. And it's very challenging. And yes, Mike and I are fortunate. We have plenty of resources to offer our daughter, but at the end of the day, she doesn't care if I'm an assistant superintendent and he's a superintendent and we're all wherever. We're mom and dad. And it doesn't matter how many things we offer her, she still wants to go back to school. Our first month, our entire family was very happy to be home. We live a very busy life. I'm very type A. I don't want my kids to ever feel like, because of my job, that they can't have the normal life that every other kid has, right? So Girl Scout, soccer, blah, 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 blah. And you sort of get lost in that. So again, taking lemons and turning it into lemonade, those first few weeks home, we were like, oh my gosh, there is so much we could be cutting out of our life, because it's just so nice to spend quality time with each other. But then you go into like month 3, month 4, and not that you don't love each other, you're sort of sick of it at this point. And you have those days back and forth. So summer was definitely a welcome reprieve. You could go in the pool, you could do a little bit more. It's quite chilly here in New York for the first few months that we were in a pandemic. But I would definitely say a pro, like you were talking about with your grandkids, is life, no matter school-wise or family-wise. I don't think it'll ever go back to the way it was. I would hope that most families or people individually would have been able to take that time to sort of reassess what's important in their life and how they want to move forward after this.